Okay, so in this video we're going to talk about painting with these watercolor crayons. And some of you may be familiar with them, but I find a majority of my students have never really used these before. And so, a couple things about them. They are just like crayons. In fact, they look like crayons, but they're a little bit softer. All right, so I got you some brand new ones. I'm going to ask that you take care of them. Taking care of them means at the end of class, they're back in the package like this. They will break. I'm assuming within 2 days we'll have a couple of them that'll get broken. I'm not going to freak out because I know it happens, especially when you press kind of hard. However, if you break one, make sure you get the 2 pieces back in the container, and it's good to go, even if it's broken. So, couple things. We're going to have these at the end of class. I'm going to ask you to leave them out just like this, so that it's easy for me to check that everything is where it needs to be. Every table should have 4 pencils, or excuse me, 4 pencils, yes, but 4 brushes and 4 water cups, with the exception of orange. So I asked that she fill this for me because I want to show you the quickest, easiest way to clean up and to get ready is to have one person over at the sinks for this assignment. And what she did is she filled this one pretty full, because now that it's brought back to the table, I can just disperse it and we all get a little bit of water. So instead of having 24, 26 people at a sink, we're going to only have about 9 people at a sink. And this is really all the water we're going to need, especially for today as we begin, because all we need to do today is basically use this to dip our water in. Can I use your towel, by the way, that I put on your table? Okay, again, I will ask that you please listen up. Okay, so to use these, we are going to just simply color in the area that we want dark. And I want you guys to work really hard at going dark to light. Now, in my previous video, I have it where we start with the line and we go dark and then light as we go in. But I'm going to have you guys, are we looking at the screen? Good. All right. I'm going to have you say, okay, the very center is where it's going to be darkest. And every time I hit a line, it's going to be dark and then it gets lighter as it goes away from the center. This is what we call a radial design. And so everything originates from the center. Now, the beautiful thing is, like how I say that, beautiful thing is, we don't have to color this entire thing in. This is a very strong crayon. So what I did is I put a little blue down. I'm now going to just dip the tip of my paintbrush in water, and I'm going to liquefy this crayon. Okay, you guys may or may not be seeing much. Let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit more and get it in focus. Oh, much better. All right, so I'm going to dip it one more time just to show you here. And you really don't have to have your brush saturated with paint. So I'm going to go ahead and just liquefy a little bit more. And my goal is to have this get lighter as it goes towards the line. Okay, I hope I'm not confusing you, because just a little, oh, I dipped it again. Now, the reason I dipped it again is because I want to now work from here and go lighter and lighter. Now, what I hope I didn't confuse you with is I said everything closest to the center is going to be darker. Do you remember me saying that? Okay, now I hit a line. Okay, so I went from dark to light, and now that I hit this line, I'm going to go dark again, but on the other side of the line. So I have choices here. I could possibly, I need all your eyes up, please. I could possibly go blue all the way if I wanted to, but I think it's a little more interesting and creative to go with a different color. So I'm now alternating, and I'm going to go with this. I think this is supposed to be orange, but it's really a reddish orange. So I'm going to go ahead and go dark along this line. Remember what I said? Powerful crayons mean we do not have to color a lot of it. So I'm going to go ahead and you notice I'm not really creating a ton of lines. I'm just trying to fill in an area. Because this area is bigger, I might go just a little bit further down. And then again, I'm dipping. Now, if you find you have paint in your brush, remember I said we're going to have these at the table, a cloth for everybody. You can just swipe your brush. I can say, okay, I'm going to swirl it around. in my water, swirl, 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 and then just kind of go like this, and that will clean your brush plenty. All right, so I'm going to dip again and get my paintbrush wet now that it's clean. I'm going to liquefy my paint. That helps to get rid of any little spots that I had. And I'm going to go ahead and spread it. This stuff is really cool. I found this by purely investigating, not even knowing what it was. I ordered a couple and fell in love with these. So notice I'm getting lighter and lighter and lighter. I might even dip my paintbrush another time to go. I almost want to turn it to white by the time it hits that line. This is called value, when we go from dark to light. Dark to light. Okay? Now, you may decide that you want to go with alternating colors. I'm very Broncos-like right now. I have blue and orange. So maybe I want to go blue, orange, blue, orange. Or you could say I want to use every color I can. Maybe you want to keep a theme here. So I have blue, orange, and then over here I'm going to go purple and green, and purple and green, and then I'm going to go back to blue and orange, and blue and orange, and then purple and green. And you decide what you want to do. We are not going to do anything today other than paint, but the other thing we have to consider is what happens when you put wet paint by wet paint.
They merge.
They what?
They merge.
That's what I thought you said. That's a good term. They merge. They come together. So as you're doing this, let me save that for a minute. You may want to say, I'm going to do this stripe, and then I'm going to skip, and I'm going to do another area so that I don't have a ton of wet area beside each other. Does that make sense? So they're not merging. That's kind of our good word, or our interesting word for today. But yeah, we've got the whole class period. We've got time tomorrow. So you may decide that I'm going to work on one stripe and then skip over to the other side or corner of the paper just so we don't have a ton of that wet stuff together. So you can see here that she worked on her entire middle area as purple, and then she alternated from here. So she's got pink here, skipped, she went pink, well, reddish pink, and then she just kind of went sporadic. So it's really up to you what you want to do. This one, there's not a ton of rhyme or reason here, other than you can see she's got purple, pink, purple, pink. We've got yellow, green, yellow, green. Then she went pink, blue. So she's got a pattern within each stripe or section. Okay? Does that make sense? All right. Do you have any questions? Okay. So one person from each table is going to go up and get a full container of water to share with